Right, Princess with the Real on 2HotRadio. I got Alexis Renee here, and of course, I want to get into the story. No small talk. I
No
like to jump
small
right into
talk.
the story. I want you to start from when you decided to get into music. What inspired you to get into music, and what was your age at that time?
I think I think I just wanted a way to like express myself. I feel like I played basketball and everything, and that was always something that like I excelled in. So I just started, performing at church and stuff, and people like this. So I was like, man, I want to write my own music. So I did. After getting some good feedback at church, I was like, okay, let me try to work on some other music. So it ended up happening like that. I ended up just starting to write and record some stuff, and it just kind of kept picking up from there.
And so, when you first decided to do music from church, were you trying to get into gospel music, or did you say, "Oh no, I don't want to do gospel. I want to do something else"?
Well, I wasn't trying to get into gospel music, but that's just where we was at. We came up in the church,
Mm-hmm.
going to church with your grandparents and your aunties and stuff like that. So we would just be performing some Kurt Franklin songs and like I don't know, we probably performed every Kurt Franklin song out. I did my first talent show. I did Stump. Me and my cousin performed Stump at school.
Well, I used to love doing that one.
Crazy thing is, I was in that talent show twice. One time I performed with my cousin. This was third grade. I performed with my cousin. I did Stump, and then I performed with another group, and we performed TLC No Scrub. That was the other song I performed in the same
Oh
talent.
wow.
But that's how it happened,
Now,
man.
and so Stump got more of a reaction than TLC.
Yeah, I mean, both of them was actually really good. Like everybody, with Stump, you get everybody energy going, but like with Scrub, like you start pointing out guys in the audience and stuff, and so it was different reactions. But we got some really good feedback. I wish I could find that footage somewhere. I wonder if
So
I could
now,
find.
when was that moment? When was that moment, and you got all everything that you felt like was like, okay, you know what? This is the moment that's telling me I need to take this serious.
Um, Taking it serious, I would say. I don't know if it was just one moment specifically that I could remember, but I know that like once I started like recording music and like I would record music with other people, but like they would gravitate to my music or just my way of thinking, and people were like, yo, that's really dope, or they would be singing my parts that I created. So I was like, man, let me keep doing this shit. You know what I mean? It seemed like it's something that's getting some positive feedback, and it seems like I'm good at it. I really don't like to do things that I don't feel like I'm good at. I don't know if that's like a, a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't really like to do stuff if I feel like I'm not gonna succeed at it. You know what I mean?
And now you said you started in the third grade,
Mm.
performing and doing stuff like that. So from third grade transitioning up, through school and stuff, was there other things that you paid attention to more than the music, or was the music something that you felt like was like one of your first loves?
Actually, I lied. My first performance was first grade. I performed "I Believe I Could Fly" in first grade,
Oh
and
wow.
I got a standing ovation. Like it was so crazy. Everybody stood up, everybody clapped. Um and I was only like 6 years old and got a standing ovation. I mean, I can't really sing, you know what I mean? But like I think it was just cute to see a 6-year-old really, singing their heart out, and they were like
Hmm.
swept away. But so that was the first time. I'm sorry, I forgot what the question was, but when you asked me, I started thinking like, damn, that wasn't the first time I performed. That
Yeah,
was
don't leave nothing out. Don't leave nothing out. I want to hear about it all.
right.
So now transitioning, so transitioning through that, first grade. you done got this standing ovation. So now third grade, you said, "Oh, I'm finna perform two
Yeah.
songs. I ain't finna do
Thought
one
I had
song."
at that point. I was like, I got the juice. Let me let me go hard.
So did you get the big head? Like, how was you acting in school? You know, getting this kind of time.
I was actually shy. It's not easy to just get up and perform in front of people. You know what I mean? So, and it was something that was helping me, um, like step out of my box. You know what I mean? Like, because with basketball, you don't really. I was playing basketball first, but with that, you don't really have to, be something different than what you are. Not saying like music is like that, but I'm saying, just to stand up in front of an audience and entertain them takes a lot out of a person. It's not something that comes easy. It's something that I mean, it comes easy for some people. Some people can just, snap their fingers and it just, they're, turn into Sasha Fierce. Beyonce got that little. With me, it was, and it still is one of those things, you got to work through the moment and, make sure that you don't get stuck in your head, because that's what keeps people from being great, is just, you know, um, scaring themselves out of a moment before it's even there and thinking like, damn, everybody's going to feel this or whatever. So I think with music, I was pushing myself to step out of my box and step out of not saying I was just like a shy person, but performing, it wasn't one of the things that I had ever started to, or it wasn't something that came natural. I know I was good with words, I was good with music, but the performance aspect is a completely different thing.
So what helped you to get out of that box and want to continue to do it? Like, what gave you that courage?
Just doing it, man. Just doing it. Like you gotta, the only way to get better at something is just to keep doing it. And so, I try to, especially now, I try to work on stuff that doesn't really come natural for me. So I try to work on things that maybe not as easy for me as recording in the studio or whatever. I try to, the performance aspect, or memorize. I record music so fast that I don't really memorize all of my lyrics all the time. So when it's time to memorize it, I gotta sit down and really focus on memorizing it, because I knock out 4 or 5 songs in a night, and I just be on to the next, and it's like, oh yeah, it's time to perform it. So I'm like, oh, let me play that song back to remember all the words.
And now, so growing up as a child doing this and performing and stuff, what kind of support did you have at home? Like, was your parents happy that you was trying to do with the music? Like, how did that go?
Yeah, I mean, I always had a really, really good support system in whatever I wanted to do. Of course, I was really, really good at basketball. So, and that's something that my parents, and myself too, envisioned, the course of my life to go in that direction. So I feel like, especially my dad, he was ready for me to graduate, go to college, play basketball and stuff like that. And at one point, that's what I wanted to do. But, I always was encouraged to do what I wanted to do, or do what I felt was right, because, they wanted me to be happy. And I just remember when I quit basketball, my mom was just like, you gotta be happy. You know what I mean? You gotta do what it is that you feel like is right for you. And if it's no longer for you, then, I can't keep, pushing you in that direction. So that's something that I really appreciated.
And now, what age were you when you finally said, I'm gonna quit basketball?
I was in high school. I think it was going into the 12th grade. I didn't play my 12th grade year. I had a tough little high school. Just the whole playing basketball in high school was really tough for me, because, I had a coach that wasn't allowing me to, or she wasn't, putting me in a position to be successful. And, I was doing really well. Like my freshman year, I was scoring like 30 points a game for the, freshman and JV. And, it was just some stuff with the coach. And I feel like a lot of times coaches can ruin a kid's career by, some of their tactics or some, just different things. They may have a child that plays on the same team that they trying to put in position to get more exposure. So that's one of the things that had made it tough for me. So, I had to transfer schools, which meant I had to sit out my 10th grade year because she had wrote a letter saying that I was recruited to another school. And
oh wow.
And so when I came back my 11th grade year, I played, and it just wasn't the same no more. I had spent time like really working on my music and stuff. So when I came back, it just didn't feel the same. So I ended up, just let my parents know, like, I didn't really want to play 12th grade year because, by that time, all of my friends had already started getting letters from schools. I had missed, a lot of important time and really get to, enjoy it. And I felt like I was going to have to work way too hard to try to prove myself and get back in position.
So, and with that, and you being so good at basketball, being so, into, your basketball career at that time, were you working on the music at the same time?
Yeah. I was always doing music like in the background. I had my own little, I would say I really started getting serious about recording like probably like the summer of like maybe my 8th grade year or something. I had got this computer and put like a microphone, the little microphones you buy from Walmart that you put in the computer, put in the earphone or the microphone jack. And so I was just recording like that with my friends, and we ended up, putting together some really cool stuff. So I just kept doing it. And each year I would just, start upgrading my equipment and stuff. But yeah, man, I feel like the time that I took off from basketball, it allowed me to really spend a lot of time doing music, because most of the time I was at practice or tired or, then I have the whole year to just really do music like I wanted to. And that's when I really started feeling like I might want to do this.
Okay. So when you were having that time and you was recording music with your friends, now were you doing a group thing or were you still, doing a solo thing at that time?
See, I've always had like a team of different, I've always wanted to put together a label and have different artists that I work together with. So everything that I've designed, even from, a kid, I would always get different types of artists, and we're under the same team name, and we kind of just all do different stuff, and we just push each other. So that's what I was doing at that time, and we were just all like a crew, and we were battling a lot of people, and it was just a fun time, man. I just thought that like, damn, so that's when Making a Band was popping, like with P. Diddy and stuff. I was like, man, I wanna have like a Making a Band house, and all of us could work. And I ended up having that one day. Like I ended up, putting that together, but shit, I didn't know that it was gonna happen, the way that it did.
Look, we're gonna transition into it. So okay, so you in high school and you decided to give up the basketball, but you've been working on your music this whole time. Now, were you sneaking out and stuff, going and trying to perform and do stuff? Like, was you how connected was you in the music at that time in school?
Sneaking out, I never was like a kid that was sneaking out doing anything for real. Like I really was always on my computer, working on music, like online, just, it was so fascinating to me to download these music programs. And, I would be over my grandma's house in the summertime. Cause like back in the days, like computers, everybody didn't have a computer, or if you did have a computer, it would have been, it was like one computer per household, and it would be in one person room. Everybody, it ain't like now, like kids got their own laptops, iPads, and no, it was one per household, and you had to rotate who turn it was.
Yep,
So
you arguing over it.
yeah, I would be always on the computer, like, getting new programs and making beats or finding a way to like record myself. And it just turned into like an obsession. I would be over my grandma's house, and I would love to go over there. Did my screen go out? Can you see me?
Yeah, it came back in. I can see.
Okay, my bad. But I would be over my grandma's house, and none of the other kids were over there. So I would just be able to have her computer to myself. And I was just recording and recording all day. And I wouldn't go to sleep until like the sun came up. And then that's when my grandma would get up, and she would, get up and check her email, or, play some little card games on there, do stuff, because she
But
knew
who
I was about
taught
to
you
get.
how to do all of that though? How did you learn how to record and do all of that? Because it wasn't
I
the
just
same as now. We didn't have YouTube teaching everybody then.
It was just messing around with stuff. And then, I was a part of like different like groups online. Like Yahoo had like a music chat room and stuff. So I would meet other people that did music, and I would ask questions, or we would collaborate and send music through our email. And it was just a cool excuse me, it was just a cool time to learn. And I took all day and all night to learn how to record myself. And so now it's one of my greatest weapons, to be able to record myself and get my sound the way I want it. And then of course Sneed will go and mix it and make it sound a lot better than I do, because that's what he specializes in. But it definitely helped. Spending all that time back then, it's definitely something that I can use today for sure.
Okay. So that's good to know that putting in that time, but you were putting in all of that time in your music. You were still
Yeah.
a kid. So was you enjoying life as a child? Was you enjoying that teenagehood?
Yeah, no, I guess like I was enjoying it the way I wanted it to be enjoyed. I would still go out, with my friends, or we would go to the fair, or, get dropped off at a friend's house, spend the night, or stuff like that. But it seemed like I was always ready to get back to my computer to do some more stuff. Um, and I was always spending time. A lot of my friends that I spent time around, they did music too. So, being able to have people come over and work on music at the house was pretty cool. We had a whole, team of people that would just come over and record at the crib, and my mom would, welcome them with open arms, and how, cook for everybody and let them stay. We would be loud in there rapping, and she would just let us do it. She was always very
Oh, so
supportive.
she truly supported every part of it.
My dad used to sell my mixtapes at his job. Like all my aunties have bought my CDs for their kids. They kids make video. Like my family really supported, me doing music for sure, and they still do.
And so now, senior year, you graduating. What's next for you in your music career?
I knew that I didn't really want to go to college, as far as like, well, I at first I wanted to go to, I always wanted to go like to Clark, Atlanta. Um, but I felt like for my music career that I had to, make a decision on if I was going to stay in my city, or if I was going to move out of my city. And so I ended up, trying some uh, community community college for uh, I don't even know if it was and I really, it's just not clicking for me. I didn't want to go and sit in class again, so I was doing online. and I just wasn't focused on it. It was, it was difficult to go from like being in class to like online school when I know I didn't want to do it. So I ended up just being, my producer at the time. He was moving to Atlanta, and he said, his sister had already enrolled as well. And it was in the Art Institute. We had decided to move to Atlanta, both enroll in the Art Institute, and just chase our dreams after that. So yeah, I ended up coming up here, going to the Art Institute, and that was that was a really interesting time going to the Art
And now,
Institute.
did you have anyone here in Atlanta when you decided to move to Atlanta and do that?
No, I didn't really know nobody. I knew there was this DJ that I had met online that had put me on a lot of his projects. So he was pretty much all I knew, and his name was KD. And I'm still cool with him and his family to this day. Like, he used to put me on his mixtape. He used to, invite me to a lot of these DJ conferences and stuff, and kind of help me get my feet wet. And but I didn't have no family. I didn't even visit Atlanta before I moved. I just
So
moved.
how
I had
that's what I'm like.
$600.
So how you just pick up and just be like, I'm finna go? Like, how was that? How did your parents feel about that? Like, how did that affect everybody?
I mean, I think they knew that I was gonna be okay. Of course, they didn't want me to uh to move right away, but they knew that it would be the best for me. So, there was they supported it. So we ended up, like I said, I had $600 in a suitcase, and because I couldn't take all of my room with me, so I packed up a good, as much clothes as I could fit in that big suitcase, rolled them up, and I was like, look, y'all gonna have to ship me a box of like I think I brought like 2 pair of shoes. I was like, y'all gonna have to ship me a box with some shoes, with some sheets and some comforters, and stuff that I really need. But I'm gonna take these few things, and I'm gonna go, when I get down there, I'm gonna go to like the dollar store and get me like some little stuff for my, because they had dorms, and the dorms were really set up like apartments. And so it had a, full kitchen, full living room, and then it was only me and another girl in the dorm. So she had her own room with a lock and her own bathroom in there. I had my own bathroom, and it was already furnished. So when I came up here, it was an easy transition. I just had to, figure out how I'm gonna start making money, what shows, how to get my music off the ground. And I just, started looking on Craigslist for events, and and just built it from there.
So when you was in school, was you going to class, or was you was in school to make sure you had a living situation so that way you can get your music career and get the money going?
Say that one more time.
So when you were in school, were you in school like really trying to go hard to make sure you get the credits and stuff, or was you
No,
there like, you know what?
I mean, if I'm being all the way honest, like the only reason that I had enrolled in the Art Institute was just because um, I wanted to have a place to stay while I was figuring it out. So we enrolled, me and my producer. He was a guy. He was, a producer that I had been working with online, who I had met, just on one of those music sites where we do music, and we were the same age. So he had started sending me beats. I was doing music to his beats, and we were sending them back and forth. And he was in Nashville, and we just decided that we was going to, um, it was best for us to move to Atlanta and work like that. So he enrolled in the school. That was the first time we met in person, was at the
Oh
school.
wow.
And his sister was my roommate because she wanted to leave Nashville too. So, um, yeah, we moved out here. He came and picked me up from the airport, and we just kind of. I have all the old footage that I found it probably a month or two ago. I still have all of the footage from like us being in the hallways at the dorm, and
Oh
traveling.
wow.
It looked crazy. It looked crazy, I swear. But
So you
it'll blow your
transitioned
mind.
out here. So you transitioned down here, and talk about, because you're not at home no more, you're on your own. So I know
Mm-hmm.
everything wasn't easy breezy. So talk about some of the things that you went through trying to build up your career at that time.
Taco Bell. We was down the street, bro. We ate so much Taco Bell. They had those $2, what was it? $2 meal deals. We would get the chicken and rice burrito. We ate so much Taco Bell, is crazy. And at first when I moved up here, my producer, he only had his sister's car, so that would be how we would get around to shows. And my first show was at Pinups up here. My first performance was at Pinups for this one this one promoter who was definitely not even a real promoter. He was just on some finesse stuff, but that was my first show. And I mean, we was just, like I said, we would look on Craigslist for, just postings of any events that were happening, and just trying to build it from the ground up. But we didn't really have no money. I had started working at Arby's. I was working at Arby's for a while. My producer, he
Now,
was
how long
working
did
at
you stay
this.
in the school situation? How long did you stay in the school situation before you was like, okay?
Mm, what is it? Maybe I wouldn't even say a full 2 semesters for real. I would say
Okay.
once. I don't even know if it was a full semester. It wasn't long. It wasn't long at all, because I think by the maybe like May I was gone. I went in January, and it had to be like April or May,
So
for me to.
you left campus at that time and you started living somewhere else?
Yeah, we had because we couldn't really afford to pay for that school. It wasn't like we were getting, any scholarship, or we were, the financial aid wasn't able to pay for it the way we that would allow us to really be comfortable. So we couldn't really afford it. So we just knew it was a a short amount of time that we had to figure stuff out before we, wasn't able to get by on not paying no more. So quickly we had started just working at Arby's. He worked at Arby's first. I actually had found this job doing like some telemarketing. And I was working there for like 1 week. And the thing is, like when I was living in Oklahoma, I was working at a telemarketing job. And the thing is, like, I did really well back, in Tulsa, but the place up here, I just felt like they were really targeting older people. And I didn't feel right about, because the older people weren't really aware of, what was going on, but you were still pushing through these sales, and it would take a while to get it, you know what I mean? So I really
Oh
didn't
yeah, you were feeling
feel.
like you was deceiving the old folks.
Yeah, so I was like, man, I don't because my grandma at that time, telemarketers would call her and get her information and start, I remember my mom and my aunts looking at, helping my grandma with her stuff, and just seeing that, what are these charges, or what is, and so it made me think about that. And I was like, man, I can't be doing this. If I'm going to give my money, at least let it be a way that I can, feel better about it. So I went to Arby's. I left the telemarketing job. I was like, I would rather go to Arby's and just thug it out there. So I was up there with that
So
roast
you at
beef.
Arby's, and you wrote a track about working at Arby's?
I have not wrote no track. I've been trying to leave Arby's in the past. I've been trying to leave it. That there may not
So
be
at
no
that
song.
time, now you was working full time.
I wasn't working full time. It probably felt like it though, because those being at a fast food spot, like, it just wasn't. it wasn't easy for me because it was in the middle of like Sandy Springs. There was a lot of schools around it, and they would have, you know, heavy traffic flow, and they always wanted me to be at the front desk, like just smiling, being nice, because I'm always smiling. But I don't like working and, like, you know, talking to people. So you know, dealing with customers who are unsatisfied and stuff, I would rather not do that. So I left there too.
Oh Lord! So how long did you stay there?
Not long. Not long. Hey man, I was just using all of these things for like stepping stones. You know what I mean? Like I
So
never.
you were just getting a couple paychecks so that way you could be able to pay for something else with the music stuff.
Yeah, I was just using one thing to help me get to the next step. So, you know, I was using school to help me get to Atlanta and be able to have a roof over my head without, you know, just thugging it out on the street. So I knew I had a few months to get a job, save up some money, then we could get an apartment. So, you know, and we did that. We was in school. We was able to get jobs or whatever. And we wasn't really making much of nothing. You know what I mean? So at that time, I had two other friends who I had rapped with back in Oklahoma who had moved out here to Atlanta with us. So at that point, it was four of us. And, you know, I had, was it? Yeah. And yeah, it was four of us at one point. And, my younger cousin had came up here too. So then it was five, and one of the rappers had went home. So altogether it was four that when we left the school, we had got an apartment, and we couldn't afford no 4-bedroom, no 3-bedroom. We had a 1-bedroom apartment because our income from Arby's, even putting them together, we were the only two that had jobs was me and the first dude that I had came down here, the producer. We were the only ones with jobs, and we both worked part-time
So
at
four
Arby's.
of y'all living in this apartment, and y'all got two jobs. How many bedrooms y'all got? 1 bedroom.
1 bedroom. We moved into a 1 bedroom, and I was the only girl, so that I got the bedroom.
Well, lucky you.
I guess. And the funny thing is, when you and I got pictures of this too. You know, I documented a lot of stuff just because I always felt like my story would help somebody or encourage somebody. So I have all of these things stored away on a hard drive. But yeah, so we all had air mattresses. You know, no real furniture. All of us had TV, because you got to think about it. At the Art Institute, it was furnished when we was in school. Mm-hmm. So when we left, all we really had was like TVs and our music equipment. And so we just went. We didn't really have money to buy like furniture. We just went and bought like some air mattresses, you know, and had them on the floor in different spots. Sometimes we would all get together in the living room. Everybody bring their air mattress in there and watch TV. We didn't have no TV stands, and then all the TVs was on the floor. So we would all get together, lay down on our little air mattresses, and watch TV in the living room. So, but it was fun.
living like that and seeing, you know, that struggle and, you know, everything that you was going through, what kept you motivated to keep going towards your music?
What kept me motivated? I didn't want to fail. You know, I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to go back and have to tell everybody it didn't work out. So we was gonna make it happen no matter what we had to do. Like it was fun though. You know what I mean? It was like, imagine leaving.
It was an adventure.
Yeah, imagine leaving your parents' crib, going to a state that you've never been to. One of the most turnt states, like, you know, you in Georgia, and outside of you in Atlanta, you in the most exciting city for music and entertainment, and you just out here, and you can make your dreams come true, like, you know, with one decision. So we were always excited to see what may happen. We was always excited to like go to events and see who we could connect with and meet new people, because it wasn't like that back home. I wasn't able to like do things every single night. It may be like on the weekends back home, but in Atlanta, you can go out every night if you would like to.
So now, so
More
y'all
than one
look, so
time.
y'all already look, so y'all already only two incomes coming in. It's for y'all living there. Y'all building y'all music career. So now I know y'all got to put money into going out and doing stuff like that. How are y'all able to go out here and grab these opportunities?
I mean, it wasn't really many opportunities. I would say one of the biggest things at that moment, I had that DJ that I was telling you about. He had started managing me at first, and he was taking me to a lot of the events that he knew, meeting a lot of the people that he already had contacts with. He brought me to a studio to work out of, a professional studio that he, knew these guys. And since he was managing me, they were letting me use the studio for free. And so, we would go there. It was way out in Lawrenceville. We would go there and, really feel like we was really working. Like, man, we got management. We got, a team of people that are really trying to put stuff behind us. Um, and I think my thing at that time is that those guys, they were older. You know what I mean? They were a lot older than us, and I didn't feel like some of the things that he wanted me to do, or some of the ways of like promoting myself and stuff, fit for my age group. And I felt like, some of the ways that he was accustomed to, doing things in his music business, I felt like, man, we know what's going, like, we know what's hot. When you kids, it's like, nah, we need to do this type of stuff. Like, I don't want to be performing for this type of crowd because they won't get it. And so it eventually kind of fizzled out. I'm still really cool with him and his family, and I really appreciate him even taking me under his wing at that time. But I did have a conversation with him one day and was just like, I definitely appreciate everything, but I don't think that this is the right place for me to be. But that was one of the first situations in Atlanta that I was in, that it was like, wow, man, he's introducing me to producers. He's introducing me to, studios and stuff like that. So I have really appreciated him even taking the time to invest any time and energy into me.
So, and then after things changed between you, I know he introduced you to people. Did those connections stay connections for you? And then how did your career transition after y'all discontinued y'all relationship?
I'm still cool with I mean, I would say like we ended on good terms. It wasn't like a bad thing. So, we stayed in communication. Like some of the producers, the owner of the studio and stuff, we talked a few times after that, but it wasn't, I didn't, go over there a lot, or see them much after that. But, he would still invite us over to eat barbecue. He used to make some good barbecue. We would go over there and have fun, and he would look out for us like family. But, at the time, I felt like there was something that we were supposed to discover that we weren't able to really do if we was under that umbrella. So
what was the next step for you?
Oh, after that, I remember I was doing music. I started putting out project. Well, I put out a project, a mixtape, and I was in communication with my cousins back home, and they, had done really well in the music business before. I didn't really have a relationship with them. It was like some cousins that were, distant, that we started building a relationship, and they wanted to put some money behind me and help me out. But the thing was, they wanted me to move back to Oklahoma, and they were like, "Hey, we have um, a house for you. You won't have to work. You can come down here, just focus on doing music. We'll shoot the videos, and whatever you need to do. You'll be under our label, and we'll push you, but you just would have to be down here so we can get more done." And I really, really thought about it, because I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back before I completed my mission. And I talked to him. I was like, man, because at this point, I feel like it was just me, my cousin, and the producer left, because the other two rappers had eventually gotten homesick and left. But
Okay.
me and the producer, I told him, like, my producer has to come. I can't just leave him in Atlanta. We came down here together. So if he go, it's him and my cousin. And they was like, cool. And so we get down there. It was a lot going on. It was a lot going on at that time. And that situation didn't necessarily turn out the way that I thought it would. And so
What happened? What happened now? You picked up and you left, and you made a decision because you felt like it was the best decision. And you went down there. They told you this was gonna happen. So when you got there, was everything what they said it was?
It was not. It was not what they said it was. Hold on, let me make sure this phone is charging. I didn't understand. There we go. It wasn't what I thought it was. Because let me see, how do I say it? When somebody tells you, don't just focus on music, you don't have to work and things like that. We'll take care of that. You just take care of music. I'm thinking like, okay, well, there must be a certain amount that you're going to be setting aside for me to do the things that I need to do that are going to cost. Like, I'm an adult, you know what I mean? And I had a few discussions, because it was never enough to like do everything that I needed to do. Number one, we needed groceries. Number two, gas. We needed to go to events. We needed we had bills. We had not like the house, but just like cell phone bills and things like that. And it was never like, it was always little pieces. And I know that they had it, but it was always a miscommunication between us. I don't think that they ever meant any harm, but I do understand, like, I think it was like I know I'm hard to control. Not saying that they was trying to control me, but I'm saying, what am I saying? Like, there was a certain way that they
Speak
wanted
up
me.
for what you believe in.
Yeah, they wanted me to do a certain type of music, or to be a part of a group. And my thing was like, I'm a solo artist. I didn't really come down here to be in a group. And I didn't mean no disrespect by it. I just didn't want to be, knocked off of my path of what, I was really trying to build. I didn't want to be in a group. And I didn't think that at that time we fit in a group together. But, they really, I feel like we was just in different places in our life, but I always feel like they did mean good. And they were trying to help, and they did help in a lot of ways. And, there was, I feel like I also needed to be honest about what I felt and what I wanted, because nobody gonna speak up for you like you speak up for yourself. So, and it just didn't connect. So we would clash a lot. We clashed a lot. And, my thing was like, hey man, I'll go get a job. I'm not opposed to go getting a job. Like, I know, shoot, I'll go, to my mom's house. I'm gonna sleep on the couch, and I'm gonna, save up again, and I'm gonna go back out to Atlanta. And
Okay.
my producer ended up staying with them, and I kind of felt some way like, damn, you know.
Hold now. So what? So did y'all have a conversation?
He felt like I needed to just do what they said, you know, and I was like, you know, I can't, because that's not really what's in the path from, you know, that's not what we set out to do. And that's not what we had a conversation about before I got down here either, you know. So he ended up staying with them, working with them. They had got him another crib, had him some, you know, like, and I felt the way about it. I felt more betrayed, like, damn, like I could have left Atlanta by myself, but I considered you, you know what I mean? And I wanted us to stick together through it all, but he had ended up staying with them, and we ended up falling out for a while over that. You know, I for a long time I have really felt like he switched up on me, and you know, it was bad.
Crazy. That's crazy. So you went back to stay with mama. How was that going back home?
It was cool. You know, mom always welcome you in. You know, you never feel like she never made me feel like a failure. She never made me feel like you know, I wasn't welcome. Even though I was like, you know, I was considered an adult, but I had to go back home and restart again, you know. So I was there probably maybe like a year and a half, 2 years, got it back together, and you know, had another team of like I had gotten a relationship, and my boyfriend at that time, he did music. And so I was always talking to him like about Atlanta, like, hey, I don't know if we're gonna be together. I'm gonna be in Atlanta, so you need to start entertaining that idea. And you know, eventually me and that producer had another conversation, and you know, cleared the air. This was, you know, a couple years, or, you know, like a year and a half, 2 years later. So it was me, my boyfriend, the producer. I had met another producer that my boyfriend at the time was working with. So that him, my cousin, and I had a friend who was like, he was a little older than us, but he was more, you know, he really believed in me and was funding me as an artist. And we all had got like a 6-bedroom house down here in Atlanta, and moved back down to Atlanta, and that was my making a band house right there.
Oh wow. Okay. So now y'all got this house. Y'all just moved back to Atlanta. Y'all got somebody funding it now.
Yeah.
So y'all good.
We was good, and then we wasn't gonna let it happen the same way again. So all of us was working, and you know, we was more, we were grown at this point. You know what I mean? We, like, when we first jumped off the porch, we was out there, you know, in Atlanta without having no indication of what it would feel like in Atlanta, and you know, so when we came back, we was kind of prepared for what was out here. And so we came back, we all got jobs. It wasn't, you know, our friend who was funding us, he was, it wasn't the same situation. He wasn't paying for like our daily expenses and stuff. It was just like, you know, if you drop a project and you need an extra 300 to get, you know, some CDs pressed up, or, you know, stuff like that, he would help me out with. And you know, and he always stayed solid. I actually just had a conversation with him, you know, over Thanksgiving. So he helped us get back to Atlanta, and he was still like paying his portion of the rent. and he wasn't even here 90% of the time. He was back in Oklahoma, but he was still paying his rent every month, and that really it really helped us out, really helped us, like, establish a foundation.
Okay, so with that, having that foundation of being comfortable in your living situation now, how is the music career going at this level?
Still trying to figure it out. We was able to record. He had helped us get some music equipment, like some, better music equipment and stuff. And I mean, we were still trying to find the right moves, you know what I mean? The right moves to make. And, I always felt like, whenever you depend on people to put money behind you, it never really goes the way, especially street dudes, you know what I mean? Especially street dudes. And mostly that's what that was. It was more so like dudes in the street that had some bread to do some stuff with and wanted to put it in the right places. So, but again, when you got people from the streets, they are looking for like a quick flip, kind of like it is in the street. But music ain't that way. So, I knew that the majority of it was gonna have to be me. So all the hard work, I was out grinding to try to help, establish myself and put us in a better position.
So now, how is this going? With your boyfriend, being here, doing the music, the transition of everything, working with somebody, that you also are dating, and trying to build together. How is this going for you?
Well, I mean, we both did different type of music. But I mean, I don't know. It was interesting. There's definitely some stuff that I learned from him musically. Um, but I mean, shoot, we ended up, you know, having what, maybe a year or two relationship, uh, maybe a 2 year relationship, and not too long after maybe like a year after we moved here, we ended up, going through some rough patches and breaking up. So, um, it wasn't like, at that time it was big, yeah, of course, but we was living in the same house, not together. You know what I mean? All of us in this house
But
together.
was y'all still doing the music and stuff together, still working together?
Not after we broke up. No, we was. I mean, we was cordial, as cordial as you could be in the same house, but uh we was trying to, just avoid each other. Like, he had moved downstairs to the room in the, downstairs on the first
So
floor.
y'all was able to bring in other people in the house after y'all broke up because y'all was
We
still living
didn't do
together.
that. We didn't do that. We didn't do that. We didn't do that. But I knew that it was only a matter of time for us, because we started doing shit like, being gone. Like, I would like leave and just try to be gone for a long time. Try to be
To
gone
make
for
them
a long
mad.
time. Yeah, but then when I got back home, he would be gone, and I would be pissed off, like, where the fuck? So we were just playing these little stupid games like that, and that, that the young shit, and trying to make each other jealous. But I remember maybe, um, what is that? A year after we moved down. A year after we moved down, my mom and my sister moved to Atlanta. And after they moved to Atlanta, I had some people, well, after they moved in Atlanta, I felt like I had people down here, you know what I mean, that I could go stay with my mom. So I left the house eventually, and I moved in with my mom. And shoot, after that, I was, done with that situation. That the producer, I felt like the producer had switched up on me again. um
Again?
I did, yeah, again. I don't know what it was. I just felt like um I don't know what it was. But, the producer, we ended up falling out again, and I just felt like he never really had my back like I thought. And so, I moved in with my mom. I started thugging it out again. I went and got another job. And then I just started building my life up here. But it felt like I had a foundation because at that point my mom was here. So I didn't feel like I was just out here alone. So I, had got a job, was, consistent, ended up, moving into my own townhouse, and then somebody got killed outside of the townhouse. So I moved back in with her.
Get into the story. Your mom moved here to Atlanta. You moved in with her because now you was living with the boyfriend still, even after y'all broke up. And you realized that relationship that wouldn't work and living like that. So you moved back in with mom who moved to Atlanta. And now let's talk about that transition and how things were going from there.
From when my mom lived up here, or me moving in with her.
Yes.
I mean, it was good. I felt like I had, like a sense of home out here because, before that it was just kind of like, it was getting hard, especially if, the people that, you came down here with is starting to feel like there's some distance created. So it was like perfect for my mom to have been, coming out here at that time. And so again, I go back, I live with my mom again. And, that's one thing about parents, they have, this love for you that's like, hey, no matter what, you can always come here and start over again. So that's something that, I'll always be appreciative of, is like anytime that I hit the ground, I was always able to go sleep on mom's couch till I figured it out, you know what I mean? So and then when she moved up here, there was a brief time when she was transitioning from her HR position. She was an HR manager in Oklahoma for several years, and moving out here, it was a little difficult in the beginning to find the right position. So but she had enough money saved up so that it wouldn't be too stressful. But there was some moments where it got a little tight, and we but she always was stayed in a nice place. And it was, but there was some moments where it was tight while she was getting adjusted to this new place, and just trying to find a position that paid her what she was making back home. So me, I was just trying to, I was able to, I had started like shooting music videos and stuff to start making some extra money on top of like what I was doing with music. I was shooting music videos for people.
And so now at this point, you done left. You came back here with the boyfriend and the producer. The producer's out of the picture. The boyfriend's out of the picture. So who are you connecting with and making these moves with now?
Now, this is one point. This is one part that I left out of the story. So I had a friend. This is when I was in the Art Institute. So this was when I first moved down here, before I even moved back to Oklahoma to go, with my cousins that was starting a label. In school at the Art Institute, the first day that I was at the Art Institute, I get into class, my first class, and in walks this dude, light-skinned dude, and sits right in front of me. And he was late. He introduced himself, and it ended up being my friend Saga. He was in the artist. I met him at the Art Institute the first time, the first class. We exchanged like, music and stuff like that. And we always stayed in touch. So this was one of the friends that I knew. He had moved back and, came back again, kind of like I did. So he was one of the friends that I knew after I, had left, that I could at least connect with him and start doing some music, or, like just see what he was into. And we just started hanging out. And, that's when we started, doing, I had the name for Broken Class already. And he was like, well, shoot, my old team ain't the same team no more. So let's, like build this up. And we had, just started going to events together, doing shows, doing music, and really just hit it off. And it was like, somebody that I was able to start, running the city with, getting to know like the Atlanta scene with. So he was definitely like a good friend to have out here. And so that was like one of the main people that I started hanging out with as I moved up here was Saga.
Okay. So now, so you when you moved in with moms and you getting back to the music, Saga is one of those people you link back up with. Well, you
Mm-hmm.
was continuing to keep in touch, but that's somebody you transition with now at this point.
Yeah, for sure. We was doing music, running around, and we both love music, so we would just go to, different shows or, just out, and it felt good to like, okay, now I gotta, figure this out. Now I gotta, and it felt good learning Atlanta from a different perspective too, because when I moved out here, I moved with people that I planned on moving out here with. But then when you meet other people, it's like, okay, now I get to learn Atlanta from their perspective and the places that they went. So I can show them places, they can show me some stuff, and we can experience other places like together, like new stuff, because he wasn't from here either. So
And
we
so
would
through
kind
your
of
transitioning and the building that you guys were making, what kind of connections were y'all making here in Atlanta? And was those connections helping you guys to be able to build and be able to do shows and things other places as well?
yeah, because at this time, when I was living with my mom, I didn't really have to like worry about like rent and stuff. So that took a lot of stress off of me, just uh, she gave me some time to like get a new job and just start saving up a little bit and then start paying, a certain amount on rent every month. But in the beginning, I was able to kind of, after I was broken, you know what I mean? I could come, I came and stayed with her, and I was able to work my job and save up and stuff like that. So and then, like I said, I was shooting music videos too. So we were able to go around and find some real shows to perform at, like some real good, shows to perform at. And the job I was working at, a lot of the people that I worked with really supported my music. They would come to my shows, and I would start getting a little crowd at these shows. And I built some really good friendships at this job that I worked at. And I started really building a life after that. I'm like, wow, okay, so I'm able to save some money. My mom is here, my sister is here. I'm starting to have my own friends outside of like, what I had in my relationship. When you move somewhere with somebody, y'all start having the same friends and shit. When y'all break up, it's like, damn, who am I? So it's always important to make friends outside of your relationship, just so that y'all have some things that are separate. So
Yeah, that's true.
that's what
I
we
agree.
did. That's what we did.
Okay.
Go ahead,
So
my bad.
y'all making connections. How is things transitioning at this point? So now, how old were you at this point?
Um, how old was I? It's kind of hard to say because it was like, I'm trying to remember exactly when I left, but I know this was between the years of like, I was probably like 22, 20, no, 23. Yeah, 22, 23, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So about 22, 23, just creating a whole, it was
A whole brand.
23. Yeah. 23 was when I like started, I moved in with my mom, and I started trying to, working at this job, and I worked there for a couple years. It was great. I was like, okay, let me move out. I moved into a townhouse with this girl that I worked with. We both, because I felt like, all right, I need to get out on my own. I need my own space. I feel like I was in the way, you know what I mean? Because I didn't have a room at my mom's house because it wasn't. I wasn't. I already had a place
It
when she
wasn't planned
moved
for
up
you to
here.
be there.
Yeah, it was definitely wasn't in the plan because I had already had a place when she moved up here. So um after that I'm like, man, I need my own space as an adult, you know what I mean? So I started I had moved into this townhouse, me and this girl that I worked with. She was never there really, so it was just me. And it was cool, but one day somebody got shot over by the townhouse, like on the side. I packed everything up and went back to my mama's crib again. I'm like, fuck that. I went right back. And I think it was
It was
probably,
safe.
yeah, I don't remember how much time it was, when that happened, but it wasn't too, I mean, it was a good amount of, like, at least almost a year, of living there. And then that shit happened. I packed everything in my little car and I was pulled back up.
Right.
and I was right
And she
there.
welcomed you once again with open
And
arms.
she never made me feel like I was a failure. She never made me feel like I couldn't come home and start over again. She never made me feel like I mean, there was times she made me feel like, all right, what you gonna do? What's but
That's
that's
that
what
push.
yeah, that's what they're supposed to do, because you don't ever want to what is it called when you're helping somebody but it's hurting them more than you helping them.
Cripple them. Enable it.
Yes. Yeah, enable, that's the word I was looking for. So I'm sure she never wanted to make me feel too comfortable to where she was enabling me to just, be a couch potato or anything like that. So I mean, that's really what started motivating me to just go harder. Like, man, let me shoot videos, let me do all this. I started traveling, shooting videos for people, taking the money, putting it back into my own studio time, um, paying for some collabs and things like that. But it's like, then my mom had got sick. After I moved back in her shortly, really, when I was at the townhouse, she had started getting sick, or some medical things that came up, and it was just like, let me go get these things checked out. And so from the time when she first started going to the doctor to get checked out to when things got really bad, it was like a year from when we first found out to probably, when she ended up passing away. It was probably a year-long process. And
So how did that affect you? Knowing that your mom was always there when you needed her. She was
mm-hmm,
always there with open arms when you needed to come home. She always welcomed you back. Knowing that you
mm-hmm.
had that support and to lose that support, or to even the transition of seeing, the things that she was going through in that year, how was that affecting you and your livelihood?
Or like right after that, how did it affect me after she passed away?
Yes.
Um, when something like that happens, you kind of like, whoa, like through the whole process, I always expected her to come out of it on top. You see things get bad, but you expect it. You expect her to. You don't ever expect your mom to pass away. You know what I mean? Um, I do remember having a thought like, dang, what if she don't make it out of this? But I would always try to push those thoughts out of my head, like, don't think like that. Um, but I think during that time that was when I felt like it was for me to, step up and really show her the same compassion that she always showed me, with open arms and trying to make her feel as comfortable as possible uh, in anything that she needed. Like, it was never too much for me to do because, um, she never made me feel like that. It's probably some small things that happened to where I was like mad at her, or, stuff like that. But overall, she never made me feel like what I needed was too much. And so, when she got sick, I never wanted her to feel like it was anything was too much to ask, because it got to a point to where she was having trouble with mobility and moving around like she used to. So I just remember times where like she would have to wake me up like 3-4 o'clock in the morning to help me, or to have me help her, like just going back and forth to the bathroom, or and I remember her just apologizing, like, sorry to wake you up, I know it's a lot. And I was like, look, don't ever feel like anything that you ask me is too much, because it wasn't, man. Like, I was sleeping on her couch, you know what I mean? Like, but when I look back at it, it was a reason that, I was having to keep going back to mom's house. And at that time, it was frustrating because I didn't really realize uh, the importance of me spending, the time as an adult at her house. But when you look at it overall, it's like, God was putting me in a position to spend more time with her. God was putting me in a position to, because, at that age, when you're in your early 20s, it's all about you. You know what I mean? You worried about you living your life, or you doing the things that are fun for you, or that's what it is in your early 20s. But when that happened, it allowed me to be like, wow, this is an opportunity for me to really be here in a way that, she was here for me. So yeah, I took that time to, like, just try to make her feel as if it wasn't too much to ask for anything, and just try to make sure that I went above and beyond, and just try to show her, like, look, I got your back. She wasn't really somebody that wanted to let everybody know that she was sick. So it wasn't, nobody really knew the extent of what was going on. Nobody really knew that she had cancer. It was just kind of between us. And I don't know, that could be a positive or a negative, but I felt like whatever she wanted to do, I was gonna ride behind that. If she wanted to keep it to herself and not really announce it to everybody, because she didn't want everybody to be feeling sorry for her and stuff like that. And so, when she had passed away, it was, a shock to some people. But I think her reason for it is because she wanted to overcome it and then, tell her story later. And it didn't happen that way. So I made it, one of my goals to be able to, tell her story to people without, when people ask me, like, what was going on? Like, what? I tell them, but I tell them with my chin up high. And, my mom never wanted to be felt sorry for. So I don't, be trying to, when I tell her story, I tell it with some pride, and I don't, I'm not breaking down crying about it, because I know that she was a strong woman, and she wanted to, she didn't want nobody, crying or feeling sad, or, things like that. She
But
did it the way
knowing
she
that,
wanted to.
knowing that you got to spend that time with her, at the end and stuff, and transitioning, how did that affect you, losing her and having to continue to go on in life?
Losing her, well, at first it was really kind of scary, like, it's like, damn, so what does this mean about life? Nothing feels the same no more. Where do I go from here? But I knew that I had my dad, my sister, and my grandma, that I had to make sure they wasn't losing it, because I know that she meant just as much to them as she meant to me. And not just them, other people. My mom was, everybody loved her, but I knew that like if if I lost it, you know, I don't know if everybody else could keep it together. So I'm like, you know, at least let me show them that I can keep it together, and I, you know, and be there for, you know, who I can. So, you know, I kind of didn't really go into any deep mourning until, well, shoot, I don't even know if I've ever had a chance to really mourn like that.
But and that's what I was gonna say. You know, from that happening, what year was that?
2016.
2016. So in 2017, I remember you dropped the track and you paid tribute to, and maybe it was late 2016 or I remember 2017. I
Yeah,
interviewed
I
you
think it was
and you dropped that
2017.
track.
Panamera,
And
yeah.
you dropped that track and you had tributes to your mother in there.
Yeah.
How, you know, speak on that and how that affected you, you know, dropping that.
Yeah, it was a really big moment. You know, one, because, you know, Jazzy Faye was a part of it, and it was just such a dope moment to. I remember the first song I had recorded with him. I was in the studio, and it was a song we was writing for somebody else, but it was still, I had written it with Jazzy Faye, and they gave me the song to go home. And okay, so let me catch you up real quick. I'm not going to waste too much time on it, but okay, so after she passed away, you know, my sister had to move to Oklahoma with my dad, and I had went down there for a little bit, but after it was over, well, after, you know, she was situated in school, and my dad, you know, my dad moved to a bigger place and stuff, then I was finally like, okay, now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do, because my mom's place um is no longer, and now I gotta go back out to Atlanta, get my own place. So I was trying to get my own apartment and, you know, take care of it from Oklahoma. Thank God for, you know, the friends that I have that was taking my deposit over to the apartments. My ex-boyfriend, he actually, my ex, the day that she passed, you know, he came and met us at the crib. He helped, you know, clean up the crib. He picked up people from the airport. So we, you know, we always stayed cool. And so when I got back, I, you know, finally moved into my apartment and stuff. And it was just me in Atlanta. And I was like, felt like I was starting over again. Um, Remember I said I had my first show in Atlanta was at Pinups.
Uh-huh.
So I met this girl at Pinups that first time I was in Atlanta years before, and she had an amazing performance. And so I remember I didn't really network with anybody else, but on the way out, I had told her like, "Yo, your performance was really great." We exchanged numbers, and I never really contacted her, but her name would always pop up in my head, and I would always get a push to reach out to her. So I reached out to her a few years later, and, you know, we had like met up, had lunch, and, you know, just talked music. And she would tell me to come to the studio and write. Okay, so fast forward, my mom passed away. I come back to Atlanta, and, you know, I talked to the girl. We go out to eat, and she was like, you know, just come to the studio and write. I was like, man, I don't want to do music no more. I'm gonna just go to school, do psychology, and try to help my family out in a different way. So I went to the studio. And the studio that she took me to, that's where I met Jazzy Faye. That's where I met Sneed. That's where I met Chop. That's where I met, I mean, the majority of the people that I
Oh, the
work with.
whole team. You pretty much. Now, how did you connect with everybody at the studio? Everybody had a different working part at the studio already?
Yeah, it was like a big studio with, you know, rooms inside. So every Chop had his own studio room. There was another dude named Trav who had his own studio room, helped us out a lot. Trav is the one who worked with Jazzy Faye mostly. Sneed was, you know, an engineer at the studio, and like kind of managing the studio as well. And so I went up there with this girl to write, and this is a girl that I met from the first show that I ever did in Atlanta. And this is another testament to like God putting you in position to connect with people. The only number I had got, she ended up putting me in a position. I met Jazzy Faye through her. just her bringing me to the studio. And back to where I was at, like when the first song me and Jazzy Faye did, I remember going back home alone, because it was just me. And I remember leaving the studio probably like 4 a.m. and just waking up, taking a shower, and playing the song on my little speaker. And I was just crying in the shower, like, dang, like she don't even get to hear that I did this song with him. And this is like a big moment in my life. And it was just bittersweet because I was like, dang, I did it, or I did something that she would really be proud of, because the whole time I was like working to try to make this music thing work. And it was finally at a point to where like, dang, I did something, but it was a little too late, like a year after she had, well, not even a year after, it was literally a couple months after she passed. And but so that, back to the Panamera thing, it was bittersweet. So I felt like I couldn't do that video without doing some type of tribute to it, because it was an important time in my life, and just being able to connect the jazzy thing with, how it made me want to be an artist again. It made me want to like do music again, because I definitely didn't want to at all.
Okay, so doing this track and giving that tribute to your mom helped you to be inspired to keep going for your dreams.
Yeah, it definitely it made me see that I could do it. Like it wasn't just something crazy that I made up in my head, like I want to be a rapper. And because I would go into these rooms and the people that I used to look up to saw something in me. And I'm like, damn. So like, I wasn't just, this girl in a little small town in Oklahoma just dreaming about this music. Like me coming up here and really doing this, like I'm really starting to get noticed by the people that I looked up to. So then I started, doing more. And I was working a lot with Sneed, and he was in a situation too that allowed him to be at the studio more, and we just started hanging out more, and eventually like the friendship just grew into more than that. And we really moved in right away. Like it wasn't even like, hey, move in, I need a boyfriend. It was just like, I think he had just broke up. Him and his girl just broke up, and it was like, it was just them in Atlanta. I think he has an uncle up here as well. But when they broke up, he was at the studio all the time, and it was just like, hey, just come over. You can sleep on my couch. We gonna go back to the studio in the morning anyway. And it was just like friends. And but we were always together, so it turned into like, so what are we doing? What is this? You know what I mean? And Chop
And so,
started.
how is that working? How is that working with, having a relationship and also doing business? A lot of people don't talk about, being in business with somebody that you have a relationship with and how to continue to make it strong.
See, the thing that makes it so easy is that Sneed is a genuinely good person. Like he has a really good heart, and he really cares about people. And what I saw is, he didn't just care about me, like he cares about my family. Like he cares about my grandma. He calls my grandma, talk to my grandma. He calls my dad and talks to my dad. He'll help my sister change a brake light. He'll anything. He's just he really cares. And so I know that no matter what, if anything happens to me, he's always going to make sure my family is straight. And when getting to know him, I got to know his family, and I really care about his family, and the same way that I care about him. And so vice versa, like I would always look out for his family. And when you love somebody family, when you care about somebody family, and somebody care about your family to the point where they would never disrespect your family because of the respect they have for you, and they respect your family easily, or they respect your family equally. then I feel like that's the person that you should put all your time and energy into, because, the guys have always, respected my family, but, it was just different with him. I felt he really, had a different heart. So, you can't pass
So
up on that.
So, but how do you guys continue to, make it strong, with work? With, a lot of people, like, they can't deal with working with somebody that they in a relationship with, because then when you got tension through work, it brings tension in the personal. How do you guys keep that separate and be able to continue to maintain? And I know everybody got problems. So how do you continue to maintain through that and continue your music career?
I mean, we definitely have had bumps in the roads on, like, when to turn it on and when to turn it off. But just communication, really. He'll tell me when I'm being too much, and I, let him know when he is too. So but we definitely have, have had some like, rough spots where it's like, look, do we need to, separate the work, or is the workload too much, or, things like that. But I feel like we got a good groove, because, after a while you just kind of work through it and just figure out what works best for you. And then you start learning stuff from each other. So then, me learning things from him that help me not need him in certain areas, you know what I mean? So, like, when it comes to mixing, now I know a little bit more about mixing, so that I don't have to bug him about it all the time. And, now he's learned some more things about graphic and video editing, so he don't have to ask me as much. So we just kind of help out where we feel we need to. But we definitely done had some rough patches. Not enough to, like, break up and say nah.
Yeah, everybody got bad. Everybody go through bad days,
Yeah.
You get past it, and so that's why it's good to hear, like you said, communication is key, and I really agree with that. Communication is key. Now, I know that you are also building with different people. I know that you've done music with Saga. I know, like you said, Chop. So talk a little bit about your relationship with Chop, and how he's impacted your life.
I think Chop has definitely made a difference in not just my life. Everybody that he comes in contact with, you're able to see that he has a good heart. He may come off mean to some people. He, like, in the beginning, he may come off a little like, damn, is this nigga gonna smile? Is he, you know what I mean? he made, but once you get past the tough exterior, you realize, like, Chop is, like, a sweetheart. He really cares. He may tell you some stuff that, it may come off in a way that's like, dang, like, you know what I mean? But I've seen it get better over the years. I've seen him, because at first I was like, man, he don't really care about how he say stuff. But, the more that I got to know him, he does think about how people will receive information. He does care about what he says to people. He does care about what people end up, or how people end up, or what direction you're going. But he tries to have a good balance of, like, okay, you're gonna do it how you want to, and I still am gonna just, drop these little bits of information in front of you if you want to pick it up. And eventually, those things that he kind of, like, just gives advice on really helps. He's helped us in so many different areas of our life. I know we drive him crazy, but Chop is like a real big brother that a lot of the things that are going really well in our lives are because of just his advice and his just putting us in the right position. So I feel like God put him in our life to kind of help steer my music career, because it's so much that I've learned from him. Like I was born in Muskogee, Oklahoma, a very small town. And I didn't have no family members that did music. I didn't, really know. We didn't really have much of a music industry there. So a lot of the things that I learned about music, I had to learn just on the go. I didn't really know the specifics, or, I never had any serious, like, paperwork to fill out. But anytime I have any question about anything that has to do with the music business, Chop is, he probably know about it. He probably know what it is, and he'll help break it down. And he's definitely taught us a lot. I don't want to keep going on about him, give him too much props.
So,
but no, we love him
I
for
just,
sure.
when it comes to your music, it's good to, I like to highlight all of the people who had an impact into the music. So is there any other people that you feel like had a major impact into your career? Before we start getting into your tracks and breaking those down a little bit, who else do you say in your life has a major impact in your career?
I mean, just like I was saying earlier, everybody like around me have played, major parts and just, helping me along the way. Like I've had, family that has bought all of my, CDs or mixtapes that I've ever dropped. Like I said, I would stay over my grandma. She would let me use her computer all summer to like record music. I've had cousins that, promoted my music, little cousins that did dances to my songs and tell all the kids at their school about me. I've had cousins that, when I was out here in Atlanta struggling, they shot me some money so that I could keep going.
So you had a huge support system.
Yeah, my parents got friends that looked out for us. Everybody that's around has in some way contributed to, helping me, from a repost to a buying a CD to all of that stuff, man. Everybody has, I don't expect anything from anybody, but the things that they do, I really appreciate it. Like, my sister has helped me, just doing my hair for some, shows or interviews or just going to them. She's, had my songs playing and stuff like that. And, so everything, that everybody's done, man, it's been, I really appreciate it. Yeah.
So I like to start with getting the backstory of the career, the transition, because I know it's not always the easy road transitioning into doing this music career.
Yeah,
we see a lot of stuff going on now.
You done got into
Look, so now
got the
that we done got past that stuff, let's get into the music. We did go into Panamera, so I want to go into a few of your other tracks. Of course, I follow your music. So, I want to get the breakdown.
A little, yeah. You say you follow the music like it's like that's light.
Look, I try to learn every lyric and every song.
That's why I'm like, man, I love her. Whatever she got going on, I'm definitely gonna support, because you have always supported me for sure.
Because your lyrics and your music, it's just like, I feel like it speaks to me, and I know it speaks to a lot of different people. So I want to, get from you, how you come up with these tracks, where you channel this stuff from.
Man, I guess experience. Like I try to. Well, I'm a writer first, so when you think about like writing, you kind of like are able to feel what other people like. You're an empath. You can kind of be in a room with somebody and kind of see how they may be feeling the way they feeling, and it can inspire. Not even words. Sometimes just a melody. Like maybe like, damn, I need to save that, put that in my pocket, and go record it later. So a lot of times I'll just go in the studio and just hear a beat, and I just start mumbling a melody. And then once I get the melody, I'll just put the words to it. And and
So
call it a day.
Valentine, no Valentine. How you came out? What made you come out with that one now?
Okay, see, Valentine was never supposed to happen. Never supposed to happen. We was all at the studio. Actually, it was me, my ex-boyfriend, Sneed, um, my homeboy Super J, who's a singer, and one of my old producers from Oklahoma was down, and we was all at that studio I was telling you that the girl invited me to. And so after that, we just kind of, since I had some Oklahoma friends in town, everybody just kind of went to my house afterwards, and I had my little microphone and stuff, my little studio set up at the crib, and we was just all messing around. So I was just, Sneed had played the beat, and I was like, oh no, we need to record to that. And so I was just at the computer, and I was just messing around like, this nigga said, can he put the tilt? And then we started laughing. They was like, no, keep that line. I was like, what? Keep the
Yeah, I
this
like that
nigga
line.
said, can he put the tilt? And I was like, that?
Yeah.
And they was like, yeah, just keep going, just like that. So I just finished it. And then, if you listen to the track, you hear that something like, yeah. That's my ex-boyfriend just in the background, just doing some harmonies. And then it's another set of harmonies in there from the singer. His name is Super J. He did some harmonies in it, and I just rapped. Sneak killed the beat, and we was like, yo, we gotta drop this. And I never expected to drop something like that, but it's been getting some organic spins. It's been played all over in like Taiwan and Jerusalem and everything. It without no promotion.
And see, and that's when you know you're doing something good, when it's getting that kind of airwave without promotion. Because when I say all of your tracks hitting, so let's break it down. So another one of the tracks that I think, first of all, Privacy. I don't even want to jump to Privacy yet though, because there's tracks before Privacy that I just feel like fucked up. Like that song right there.
That's really one that I love that one. I can't lie.
That one, I love it. I love it. That one gets in your feelings. That one gets in your feelings, though.
I might listen to that tonight. Sometimes I forget about it because the thing is, it was supposed to just be a cover because I had got the beat and I was doing like a project. Remember, I did Good Things Coming Forward, and I had did like 4 songs to industry beats, and that was one of them. But I was like, damn, like I wasn't familiar with the song that it went to, but I just felt like I needed to do my own version. And it sounds nothing like the original song. I was like, damn, I wish I had this track right here, so I just shot a video to
it. I'm fucking with it. And then Fuck With Each Other?
Fuck With Each Other, yes. That one hit hard.
With each other no more.
Nah, but that's for real though. Like a lot of times, like you'll be in a relationship with somebody or whatever, and then it's like y'all just turn to complete strangers, and it's like, damn, we don't even fuck with each other. Like we don't even say, like, imagine like spending every day with somebody. I mean, it happens to everybody, but I'm just saying that's one of the reasons that people have like been able to relate to it, because everybody can go to a point to where it's like not even in a like a romantic relationship, like friendships, like shit. There's friends that we spent a lot of time together, and then at one point it's just like, damn, we don't even text, we don't even say what's up, we don't check on each other's family. It just go from 100 to 0.
Real quick. Like, so then we got Privacy, because everybody want their privacy. And I love the video because Buddy, like, I understand you needed privacy.
Nigga was looking through the peephole, wasn't he? He was looking through the peephole.
He was doing too much.
He was
doing too much. He was calling too much. He was doing too much.
Right? Don't call me that.
So I felt it. Like I was all the way in it. Like
nah, the nigga was calling the phone. He was pulling up, looking through the peephole. I'm trying to chill. Nah,
Yeah, he was doing
I
too much. He
I
was
had a
doing
lot
too
of
much.
fun with
But
that video.
it looked like he was fun.
I had a lot of fun. And the beat, Sneed killed the beat. I can't even lie. Sneed killed the beat for sure. It
And
hit
then
the.
of course racks.
Ooh.
I take racks from different levels. You can use racks for anything. And then that's how I got into 2K. So how do you feel about that moment?
Man, I'm very proud of it because remember I told you about basketball, how important basketball was for me. So this is a game that my dad plays, and I felt like he was really heartbroken when I said I wasn't gonna play basketball no more because he was there from the first game and stuff and like just seeing me play. I know he was heartbroken when I said I didn't want to play no more. So and I wanted to do music. So to hear my music on a basketball game was kind of like, yeah, I said I was gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like a gift. I should I was thinking about taking him a plaque from the video game so that just to just show him the appreciation for how much support he's always shown.
I know that had to feel good to finally, because I know at that point you was like, what, I made it. Like I already knew I was doing something, but now I know I'm in the game.
It definitely was one of those like, damn, because I really play this game. So for a game that I really love and I really play, and everybody that I know play it, it's like, damn, that hit different. It's really like one of those things that I'm really excited about. And it's I plan on doing a lot more, but that's one of the things like that help me like keep going and feel motivated. You know what I mean?
So what is your next move? What is the next thing that you're looking to work on? And after you tell us the next things you're looking to work on, make sure you let everybody know where they can find all your stuff at. Plug everything in there.
Well, it's important. It's funny that you asked that because I have an important single that I'm dropping on the 19th, February 19th. It's called Playing Games. And I had previewed it online like a while back, and people have been hitting me up like, yo, drop this song. And so I just want to, I have a lot of songs that I want to drop really quick, but like in this business, you got to line everything up so that it makes sense because I want everybody to hear it. So Playing Games is dropping. I'm going to drop the Rags video. I just want it to be perfect. So I'm gonna drop the video to Playing Games too. I just want Rax to make a connection to my city and going back home to everybody that always believed in me and have them a part of it. Some of them been sending in some really dope videos, but I don't know if you've been paying attention. Well, I know you were sick for a little bit, but I'm just trying to be as consistent as possible, post as much as possible, and really let the people who have been turning into like real diehard fans have more than enough music to keep building their interest and coming back for more. So I'm gonna drop more music than you've ever seen me drop this year. More music than you ever. I'm going crazy. I'm about to go crazy. I'm not playing. If you go down I know you seen earlier, but this month I just been posting. Like
And
I'm not playing no games.
I see you working on a live.
I'm going crazy.
I'm ready, back to back. Just keep it coming.
I'm gonna go crazy, and I think I owe it to myself, and I owe it to everybody that's been supporting me because everybody, and I feel like this is the first time that I've been in a space to where I can just focus on doing music without being overwhelmed with everything that life been throwing at me. Because it seemed like every time I try to get going, something, a curveball come and it just kind of throw me off of my focus. But now I'm about to drop some music. February 19th, we got Playing Games. We still gonna drop the video to it. I'm gonna try to drop the video a week after. We still gonna drop the Rax video, and we're gonna drop music every month.
Okay, so now tell the people where they can find all your music now. and where they
Okay.
can find and follow everything you got going?
Everything is So Alexis Renee. So my website, soalexisrenee.com. You can find me on Instagram, So Alexis Renee. I try to make it as simple. So if you just type that in, you can find everything. And if you guys have, uh, Apple Music or Spotify, wherever you listen to music, go subscribe to my page, follow my page. I'm going to be dropping a lot of music and a lot of visuals. So please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube. And let's just grow together. That's my main thing. I'm just trying to grow with everybody that's been supporting me and provide them with more music and try to stay in contact and just listen to what people love. So
Well,
follow
I
me.
appreciate you. I appreciate you. Look, everybody needs to follow right now.
Yeah. For
Like,
real.
I really appreciate you for taking this time out of your day to sit down and do this interview to tell your artist story. Because a lot of people don't want to go back and have to relive that stuff, but it does also inspire and motivate other artists coming out here in the
Yeah.
game, and let them know too, everything ain't just peaches and cream. You're gonna go
Oh
through some stuff
hell
along the way.
no. I had a few peaches and cream moments, but for the most part, it's been, pushing through. But you got to learn how to bounce back. I think that's the difference between artists that stay around and, the ones that don't. So, yeah, pushing through.
Well, I appreciate you. And, I will be keeping in touch.
Thank you so much. I really want to tell you, I know we're probably running out of time, but I just want to tell you, thank you for always supporting me. It really means a lot to me. That's why I don't mind sitting talking to you for 2 hours about everything I've been through. And it really means a lot to me for how much you support me, for real.
Look, that support ain't stopping no time soon.